I got to show you
Everything
guys what I
about
think is
everybody.
one of the funniest stories I've seen in the economic collapse. This is from the Salt Lake Tribune. Shipping container apartments opening delayed by global shortages, developer says.
Hilarious.
Okay. This is hilarious. The cost of a shipping container is skyrocketing. The cost of transporting it is going way up. They tried to make low-income housing out of shipping containers, and now they can't open it.
Psych.
This is like a fire truck on fire, isn't it? It's like the perfect definition of irony. I know. We'll use shipping containers to create large, cheap, low-income housing, and now the shipping containers are spiking, so they
Priceless.
can't even do that.
No.
This is the perfect economic collapse story. I saw this. Wow.
I've been
Look how
doing
weird
some
that
research on them. They're expensive to transport, which is why they're not the best thing to do. And they're also, you don't know if they're going to be dirty or that they ship toxic chemicals. There's no insulation. Once you insulate them in the inside, they become much smaller. They're only like 8.5 to 9.5 feet high anyway. 6 feet
That
wide.
was in Salt Lake City, where
Yeah.
it gets pretty cold.
Look at this. This is crazy. Imagine living in that. Have you
Huh.
guys seen Ready Player One?
It's a pod.
Yep.
Yes.
No.
It's how they live in the stacks.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
Literally the pod.
And yeah, they have.
Yep.
These are up in San Francisco. They have them functioning.
Oh, man.
And
Look. I love the idea of getting a shipping container for yourself and like burying it and having a little clubhouse or
Like a
something.
bunker. Yeah.
Or doing a tiny house. But this is the stacks. This is what we've been like. This is 1984 when the guy lives in that crappy little concrete cubicle.
Yep.
Welcome to your dystopian nightmare.
California.
You will own nothing and you will be happy.
In California, you can only get single-use containers, like one shipment version containers. But everywhere else, apparently, you can have they can transport animal blood, phosphorus. You don't know what's going to be in it. We're
Yeah.
going to be breathing in. So I would, at this point, recommend do not, or at least go look into it. But at least seems a lot worse than I thought it was.
I was just watching Ready Player One the other day. And then when I saw this, I was like, oh, man. So, like, all the mobile homes are, like, stacked, and people live in these really awful conditions. Well, this is what you're going to get.
like
I got to
prefab.
be honest. These shipping containers are probably better living than New York bachelor apartments.
Huh.
Have you seen how bad New York is?
I've been there once, and it was recently.
They've got apartments that are like, it's a closet.
Yeah.
And there's no bathroom. You
I
got to
used to
share a
live in
bathroom.
one of those.
It's the same as San Francisco then. So for a studio in San Francisco was $3,500 a month to $4,000 a month to rent.
Why?
That is a good question, especially after before.
How does someone afford to live there?
They go broke. They eat a lot of freaking cup of soup, making $100,000 a
streets.
year and pooping in the street. I have no idea. Well, they make a lot. There's a lot of money floating around that town. There was in 2019. Best economy I've ever seen.
Wow.
The Trump economy.
Yeah.
In my lifetime, I had the amount of money that was going through San Francisco in particular with the big tech. They're all centered there.
Yeah.
Patreon's there. Twitter's there.
Mozilla, I
In
think,
downtown.
is there.
Yeah, and they houses are expensive. There's always been money rolling through there, and there's always a million people. This is prior to COVID, but there was 1 million people a day that would just travel into San Francisco. So the population doubled on every business day. And I've never been able to explain it. Like a normal house, I don't know how a gardener lives in San Francisco, and he must have bought his house 30 years ago.
Maybe it's like 10 gardeners all sharing one studio,
Maybe.
and they all just like sleep in bunk beds.